The Kaduna state government in northwest Nigeria last week reconnected telecommunication masts in certain parts of the state after those facilities were dismantled a few months ago because, according to the government, the bandits were using them to operate. For the period the masts were put out of use, there were reports of a lull in business activities, especially for small and medium-scale outfits. But key questions on the lips of many are, did the disconnection of the masts have any sort of impact on the activities of the terrorists? And why has Kaduna State, previously known for its peaceful disposition, continued to be the epicenter of the emerging terror dynamics in the northwestern flanks of Nigeria? Well, joining us now to try and provide some of the answers is Samuel Aruwan, who is the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs. Welcome, good afternoon, and thanks for joining the show, sir. Can you give us an update on the current security situation that is presently going on in Kaduna?
Thank you for having me. Before I answer your question, I like to disagree with you that Kaduna State is the epicenter of security challenges in the northwest. Probably you are not really following events in other part of the state. We take exception of that. Issue of banditry is a problem that is occurring in neighboring states, and it is clear that the movement of bandits from different states to Kaduna State is largely responsible for banditry, kidnapping, and other criminalities that we are facing. Now, to come back to your question about the present security situation in the state. As we speak, the military is carrying out joint operation with the police, the DSS, and other security forces across the state, with more emphasis in the front line areas where we are having a lot of challenges in view of the fact that we share boundaries with states that are front line in facing these challenges. It may also interest you to know that several actions were also taken as a result of the breach that we experienced sometimes last week along the Kaduna-Abuja route. On the southern Kaduna belt, Operation Safe Haven is also working assiduously in the southern Kaduna general area. So in a nutshell, the situation in Kaduna is a situation that is receiving attention, and from the feedback that we are getting, talking about operational feedback from security forces, the situation I can see is receiving attention, and government is commending security forces for their commitment and sacrifices across the flashpoint locations in the state.
All right, Mr. Aruwan, let's talk about the ban on telecommunications, which has been lifted. But did this yield any visible results in tackling the insecurity we find in your state?
Yes, indeed, we did. But I need to take you back to the foundation of the request. Security forces appealed to Kaduna State government to facilitate block of telecom services in some parts of the state. So it was at their instance that Kaduna State government link up with relevant federal agencies, and our request was granted. Now, it is in general, it is something that is known that Nigerians love to dwell so much on what is negative and pay very little attention to what is positive. I want to tell you, with a benefit of hindsight, that the shutdown of telecom services across the state, with more emphasis in the frontline areas, was very successful. We've made a lot of inroad. We have achieved so much that we cannot be able to talk about it. But I want to assure you that just be patient with us. By the time we will give the fourth quarter report, we will reel out what really transpired in the course of the fourth quarter, which started from October to this very moment. So just be patient with us. But I want to assure you that we made a lot of impact that people are not talking about, obviously because they are not privy to it. But we don't want to speak now so that we don't compromise what we are doing. But we knew that we achieved tangible feat as far as the shutdown is concerned. Yes, citizens have lost so much when you look at the economic loss, and we anticipated that. And that was why in the beginning we made it very clear that we know that our citizens, especially those that are engaging in several businesses and other commercial activities, will experience one setback or the other. We know all this, and we appeal to them in the beginning. And we also appreciate their patience in view of what happened to their businesses and economic activities.
All right, Mr. Aruwan. I want to ask you about the 300 reported women that are deployed along the Kaduna-Abuja highway. Are they still manning the road?
Of course. You know, like I told you in the beginning, Nigerians love to dwell so much on negative news, and people don't take time to investigate. There is no point in time that security forces left the Kaduna-Abuja road. But when you look at the road from Kaduna to Suleja or beyond Suleja, it's a long stretch of road. There are isolated corridors.
All right, Mr. Aruwan, permit me to interject at this point.
These bandits operate within a twinkle.
You've spoken about...
So the soldiers are there.
Mr. Aruwan,
other security agencies are there. And
if you can hear me, permit me to interject at this point, because you've spoken about insecurity in the... you're talking about the level of security in the state. But it seems reality and what you're saying are two cross ends, literally, because people are still getting kidnapped on the Abuja-Kaduna axis. And we're still hearing very, very horrendous reports coming from that particular place, even though you've said you have been able to nip it to the bud and you have soldiers deployed to that particular road trying to curb this thing. What we are hearing from you is different from the reports we are getting on ground from people that ply the actual road.
I don't think so. And Kaduna State government is not living in denial. We have a problem in our hands and we are doing our best. But let me also tell you something. Even yesterday, a certain fellow used the social media to say that a bandit actually carried out, they kidnapped as unspecified number of people on the road. I can tell you confidently, I can tell you authoritatively that that is not correct. There is no such incident. Nothing like that happened yesterday. So people are busy, working very hard to propagate what is not correct. But I also want you to know that the government of Kaduna State is not living in denial. There is nowhere that we have come out to say that we have overcome or we have contained threats to security. No, there's nowhere that we said so. But what we are saying is there's a problem, but this is what we are doing. along Kaduna-Abuja road, you cannot deny the fact that Operation Thunder strike is not there, or they are not doing their best. You cannot deny the fact that the air component of Operation Thunder strike is not effective. Within the last 2-3 days, they have taken out several bandits. They have destroyed several camps. They have created a situation where those that were kidnapped, some of them were freed. So I am not denying, I am not saying that we don't have a problem, but security problem is not something that is applicable to Kaduna State alone.
Yes, Mr. Aruwan, I would like to ask a very candid question. Can you boldly put you and your family on that particular road from Kaduna down to Abuja, from Abuja through to Kaduna, right now?
I don't want you to go personal. I want us to look at issues from reality. I have told you here that troops and other security forces are working on the Kaduna-Abuja road. And I have also informed you here that the reported abduction yesterday on the road is not correct. This is what I want you to know. Security problem is not something that is applicable to Kaduna State alone. No, it's not correct. Security problems, security challenge is a national security. It's something that is happening. There is no place, there is no developed country, there is no place that has no one challenge or the other. But what is important is we are on our feet. And we are the first subnational in Nigeria to be coming out with a daily security report. We come out, again, we are also coming up with quarterly and annual report where we make it very clear number of citizens that were killed or kidnapped, raped, and what have you. So the attempt to paint Kaduna as the epicenter of what is happening is not correct. We have several states in the northwestern part of the country that is battling with this. And I tell you, if you have knowledge of what is happening in other states, you will quite appreciate the fact that Kaduna State government and security agencies are working assiduously.
Thank you so much for your time on the program, Mr. Aruwan.